Many people find it crazy that in certain places, governments have the ability to erase or alter history in a way to make their country look better. An example of total control of history/information is if a country's government goes through official history textbooks and erases all of the bad things that they have done in the past. By doing this, the citizens will only be informed of the good pieces of history and have belief that their country has never done anything wrong. The citizens will have a greater respect and pride for their country and believe that they owe them to the government. In other words, having control of history and information is just altering or erasing history to perceive it in a specific way and making the country seem better than what it is.
NBC News has not verified the boy's identity, nationality, or whereabouts. The slickly produced 7-minute propaganda video shows him playing with another child.
George Orwell's book 1984 is a story told through the main character Winston Smith in the dystopian world of Oceania. The country of Oceania is run by Big Brother, the supreme leader of the nation who sees everything. Winston is a part of the Outer Party and works for the Ministry of Truth, where he is assigned to alter or change history to make the party be seen in a good way. He is given real documents from the past and must fix it so that the piece of history makes sense to the standards of Big Brother. The method of control of history/information is crucial to the way that the party structure is run. This method helps control the people of Oceania, resulted from propaganda, false news, and erasing people from existence. The reason for doing this is to influence the citizens of Oceania that the party is always right. The first example, on page 47 in 1984, Smith observes that the Ministry of Truth, quote, that there were huge printing shops with their sub-editors and their typography experts, and their elaborately equipped studios for the faking of photographs. The Ministry of Truth contains all of the staffs who are in charge of assisting in changing history, and the quotes exaggerates the amount of dedication that goes into the task of altering the past history. The quote relates to the method of control of information and history because it demonstrates the importance of the method by number of workers and the machinery that goes into it. Besides that, the government of Oceania burnt all real documents, official documents, that no one knew that they were changing history. On page 48, quote, that there were vast repositories where the corrected documents were stored in hidden furnaces where the original copies were destroyed. The quote has a significance because the audience can see that the party's method of controlling its citizens from false information that advertise. These examples show control of history/information through the book of 1984 because the party changes photos to make it seem like someone did not exist in Oceania, as well as changing the documents and destroying the original one, so it cannot be found. A majority of you are thinking, who would today change the history of information and accurate history? However, many countries, including ours, change the history to help them make them seem better light in the control of their citizens. Countries like South Korea, Japan, and the US. The BBC notes currently a range of books by different academics aren't offered in country schools, but the center-right government thinks that they are based to the left and wants to replace them with the version it approves. The South Korean government ministers debate how a textbook should boost the economy's loyalty, while famous professors believe that different textbooks would offer a different opinion and views. The ministers want to change the textbooks to make their citizens have a greater pride for their country. However, it has caused a commotion in the citizens that isn't the right thing. This same method was similar to 1984 because Winston had access to change what happened in the real world so that it appears that Big Brother predicted the event to happen. Another example of the government controlling its citizens is seen through the South Civil War and slavery perceptions. In 2011, the Pew Research Center found that half of the people they surveyed through the Civil War had been fought over a difference in opinion about the constitutional law. Although Lincoln gave speeches about slavery dividing the country, the United Daughters of the Confederacy, and had a hugely successful run at rewriting history. If you went to the South and asked students what were the reasons for the Civil War, many of them will say that it involved the constitutional rights of the U.S. rather than being fought for slavery. This was due to the new federal matters and the authors who were part of the Confederate and published their own textbooks. It has now become the norm for Southerners to say that the South wasn't originally wanted to free their slaves. The KKK wanted to help the blacks and expose the truth about President Lincoln. During World War, Hitler and Stalin were famous for the executions of their officials who didn't do their job. Both of the men were well known for erasing people from history, from the media to the newspapers and photographs of the official text to Stalin and Hitler. The man that was erased was Nikolai Yezhov, a dedicated Stalinist, and was a secret police officer for the Great Purge. This is a great comparison to 1984 because Winston Smith had the ability to erase people when he was writing for the party. The party vaporizes many people who they believe are a threat to the party, and they will delete all traces of the person if they have ever existed. This is the same case.